Hey everyone, Leo with Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our Fleurette greeting card. I've got all my pieces cut out in front of me, as should you. And this is my third one today, and I'm in love with these. I know that you guys are gonna love these. I'm hoping that this is one of our best sellers ever, and I have a feeling it will be. Here is the card base. For those of you that used the standard version that you find in the main SVG folder, you may find that there are either just a few perforations here for the fold, or possibly none at all, depending on the card. I don't remember off the top of my head which one's which, but we did that because the card is a little bulky on the inside, and we didn't want the seams to split, but you can just fold it in half like you used to fold what's it called? Construction paper back in school. Okay, very simple, not a difficult thing at all. Okay, now make sure that this is your front, and you'll notice that the difference between the front and the back is that the front has some little score marks here and here. This is for the cloud, this is for the sun. You want this to be the front, okay? So if you don't see it, flip it over and you'll see it. We're going to start off by putting together the little landscape scene, okay, and it's pretty straightforward, okay. We're going to start off with this piece here. There's two pieces to the little rolling hills. We're going to use the larger one first. We need to get that flush with the left, right, and bottom. So it's going to span the entire width of the face of the card. And of course, I want to make sure it is flush with the bottom. I'm going to open this up just to make sure that I'm getting it aligned correctly. Going over to one side here, and then the bottom, making sure it's flush, like I said, and then just press that down. Make sure it's on there nice and flat. Okay, we'll move on to this piece. Same thing, flush bottom, left and right. Just give it some added dimension. Now, this card is dimensional. Sometimes, I mean, not often, but sometimes in the past we've gone a little overboard with how dimensional things are. I wanted to tone it down a little bit. Okay, be careful here. I'm still buzzing off the coffee from today. Okay, again, make sure it's flush. Bottom, left, and right. There we go. Okay. All right, so now while we still have it flat, we're gonna just put the rest of the elements in place. We have a layer of clouds, and this is gonna kind of fit in like a little puzzle. Okay, you can see the curve. And we're just gonna line this up like so. Should fit on there like a little puzzle piece. There we go. Perfect. Okay, let's get our sun out. And what you can do with the sun here, if you want, you can take a little dowel and take each of the little rays and place the ray between your finger and the dowel, lift it up about 45 degrees, and run the dowel through. That will kind of lift up the edge of it to give it a little added dimension. And then we're going to take and I'm just going to put glue on the center of it here. And you can see the little score marks. And that's where our sun's going to go, just like that. And then if you want, you can glue this down flat, or you could use a foam square and elevate that if you want. Again, I don't want to overdo it with the dimension, so I'm just going to go flat. I still think that looks nice. And then we have a little cloud. It's going to go right there. And the rest of the scene is actually part of the little frame that's going to go around Fleurette. Okay, so there we go. So that part is pretty much done. Let's open this up. Okay, and we're going to take these pieces here, and we're going to get these glued into place. Now, you'll notice you do have markers here and here and here and here. We're going to align this with those markers. Okay, so let's go ahead and apply our glue to the back of each of these. You notice that a part of this panel that we're putting in kind of extends out further than the rest of it. Okay, and we're going to use that to actually put our purse in place. And I'll show you how that all works once we get there. Not quite time yet, but again, don't forget to use those little markers. And at the same time, still visually make sure that that border all the way around is even. Okay, 'cause sometimes those markers, they're handy, but they're not always perfect. What's perfect in life anyway? Nothing really. All right, same thing applies to this one. Let's get our glue mostly around the perimeter. And this is where you're going to write your little message. You can have your machine write it if you want. You can do your stamping, whatever it is that you want to do. Okay. And just line that up using those little markers. Again, make sure that that border is even. And then these two little sections that kind of protrude a little bit, make sure they're lined up as well. There we go. Okay. All right, so I can put this off to the side for now. I'm gonna actually put this underneath my mat. Let the mat kind of help it dry flat. And we can begin putting together this little guy. Okay, so this green section is going to be our back section. These two layers are going to go on top. We wanted this to be 3 layers thick so that she is nice and secure. So let's do this. Let's glue these 2 white layers together first. I'm going to put this down on my surface because it's kind of flimsy when you're holding it. Oh, geez. It's okay. That happens. My goodness. This glue is nuts right now. Just go easy with the glue. I'm not sure why it's deciding to just go crazy on me right now. Get some glue on Miss Fleurette here. Go up the sides. And if you don't get it all glued down properly on your first attempt, we can always grab a scrap piece of paper and use our little painting method to kind of fix any little areas that might need it. I'm going to start on the corner here. I want to get my corner lined up. Now I'm looking at the cloud, going over to the other corner, going down to the bottom. Corners are good, which means that the rest of her should be good too. And of course, right as I say that, it's a little off there. That's okay. There we go. And as I mentioned, this layer is going to go on top of the green layer. Okay, so we're going to actually glue that down now just to get it done. It's going to go like this. Okay. So let's go ahead and flip her over again. And same thing. Let's start up here. Maybe I'm just squeezing harder right now, but I don't think that's the case. I think my bottle is just doing whatever it wants right now. It's unpredictable. All right, going up the edge. Down. There we go. We'll grab that. And again, starting with one of the corners. Right here, going top right. Looking at the cloud now. Heading over here. Then over here. Then down here. And then the rest of it should fall into place nicely. There we go. Okay. So now let's find the various little flowers that we need for this. Like for example, this one is going to go right here. Okay, and I did go through and I inked the majority of all these pieces. I think this one is this guy here. That one's going to go there. And that's going to fit in like a little puzzle as well. Okay. We have little stamens for both of these. They look like that. So make sure you find both of those. And then this flower is going to be 2 layers thick. And it's kind of chopped off a little bit because of the frame. Okay, so it's going to go right here, like that. And you may need to put it in from one angle as opposed to another angle. And this one's going to go right here. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's going to be offset like that. Okay. And then we also have this little guy for the stamen, and then another one that's a little more pointy. Okay, so that's it for this layer. We're gonna get that glued down and just go easy on the glue here. And like I said, I'm barely squeezing and this thing is just going nuts. That's okay. Sometimes I complain that not enough comes out, and such is life. Okay, I'm gonna come in from this angle. Pardon my head for a second. There we go. Okay, next, this guy. Now you can see there's a straight edge here, so you're just going to match that up like that, and the rest of it will find its way. So there's two petals on the right-hand side that kind of have their edge cut off. Just want to match that up like so. Okay, that's going to go down flat. Then grab your larger yellow circle, and that's going to go right in the middle. And then the smaller yellow circle, that's going to go in the middle of that. Just a little dot. Whoops. Come on, scoot over. There we go. And then this flower, oh, you know what? I didn't even glue these down yet. Let's get those glued down first before we do anything else. Nice and easy with the glue. And again, if you have to kind of come in at an angle, that's fine. This one you don't really have to. Make sure it's flush with the side of the dress on that one. This one's going to take the smaller stamen. And you can see that there are some little markers there to help you with the positioning of the stamen. Just put some glue on there. Use the tip of your nozzle to kind of spread the glue out. And then you've got a little marker there to help you with the positioning. Looks like I didn't get enough glue on one of those little stamen tips. So I'll just take a scrap piece of paper, put a little bit of glue, tuck it under there, right onto that piece, and then press it down. Not a big deal. We'll do the same thing with the other one. Just a few little dots. If you get too much on there, just wipe some off with your finger so it doesn't get all over your pretty flower. And then use that little marker to help you with the pivot. Oh, I didn't glue that down. Duh. That's okay. Don't forget to glue that down. Okay, and you can see how that works. I'm going to actually go in this way. Whichever way works best. I'm fine with that. And there we go. Okay, we are now ready to begin putting Fleurette together. And I've got it kind of laid out. I'll walk you through it obviously, but this black piece here, we're going to start with this, and we're going to put this on top of the black, like so. There's my glue, there it is. And just try to avoid getting too close to the openings for the eyes and the mouth. We don't want any glue showing through there because it's going to be, if it does eventually, or if it does accidentally get through, it's going to be on a black cardstock, and this glue shows up the worst on black, so be careful. Okay, let's pop that right into place, like so. That looks good. Okay, now while we're here, while we have just these two layers together, grab her little bow, and let's get that glued into place now while it's a lot easier to get to. Okay, just pop that right on there. Should be flush with the top black part, like so. And we'll have some hair kind of covering that up. Okay. All right, next, grab the solid color for the dress. This is going to show through in the back once we get the pattern piece in place. Okay, nice and easy with the glue. We don't want it bubbling up on the paper and destroying that beautiful texture that we have. I'm going to line this up with certain parts of the bottom. There's some sections that show through. Those are for her legs. Okay, just like that. We'll do the face and the hair last. It's like a separate layer that goes down, and it doesn't really mess with this section. So we can do this and not worry about any worlds colliding. Okay, so this is going to go on next. And it is a sleeveless dress, but just for the sake of layering and making things easier, there are sleeves. I guess, well, no, I was going to say maybe you could, if you wanted to make it have sleeves, you could. Well, I guess maybe you could, now that I think about it. If you just omit the next layer, but then it'll look weird. Never mind. We didn't think that far ahead. Would have been kind of cool though. I'm sure you guys would like that, but it is what it is. Okay, next, you're going to throw this layer down. These are her arms and the little placeholder for her bouquet. Let's get that in place. Nice and easy with the glue. Just try to keep it flat. Shouldn't really see it be thick at all. Okay, there we go. Bring that down. Press that into place. Okay, next, before we put the belt down, let's put this piece in place. And you can see, because we have that shadow layer there, we know exactly where it needs to go. Actually, you know what? Never mind. We're going to foam square this, so we don't want to do that. We're going to put her top on first. Good thing I caught that. Otherwise, it'd be ripping this to shreds. Okay. And we all know where a top goes. Just match that up. There we go. Perfect. And then we have a little belt. It's going to go right at the base of that piece that we just put down, flush with the bottom of it. There we go. Perfect. Okay, now we can actually build this away from the actual design. So you might need to rotate this pink piece a few times just to get it to line up properly, but you'll see that it kind of blends into that green shadow element, and it really only fits one way. So just keep rotating it until you find it, or just look at how I have it and just follow that. Hopefully I have it the right way. There we go. Just like that. And then this darker pink piece, you can see this little cutout here in the center. That's going to match up with this little cutout. So it makes it a little bit easier to figure out how to place this one. Very simple. Just like that. Here we go. And the remaining flowers here are just going to kind of add another layer of dimension. You'll notice you have 4 of the darker ones, 3 of the lighter pink. And what you can do is just take this and I may probably just use a dowel because they're kind of thick. Just take and press the tip of the petal between your finger and the dowel, and then just curl it towards you just to get it started. And then once you do get it started, you can kind of twirl it around between your fingers to really raise those petals up a little bit to give it some dimension. Now remember, since we're putting this in an envelope, we don't want to add too much dimension to anything because ultimately it will flatten out, but there's no harm in giving it a little bit of life. Okay, that's never a problem. The envelope will squish it down as much as it needs to for it to fit in there, and that's where we'll be, unless you hand deliver it, in which case, you know, you can give it a little more oomph if you want, and that's okay too. All right, so just go through, give all these little flowers some dimension. We did not include any stamen pieces for these flowers because they're so small that, well, it would be a nightmare to cut. Okay, so with these here, just find the corresponding color and offset it, meaning rotate it, so that these little tips of these petals are not right on top of the ones that are already there. You want to stagger them so it looks more full. Okay, and I don't really think it matters where or what size. I think they're all pretty much the same size, so just have fun with it. I'm just making a little bouquet. And I'm just starting with the one color first. That looks good. And now, you know what, this one looks a little bigger than this one. I'm gonna put that large one up at the top. But I mean, I don't think it's gonna make that much of a difference. No one will notice. Yeah, and like I said, don't forget, once you're all done, break out those rhinestones or the pearls, whatever it is you want to use, and pop them in the center of each of the flowers to kind of jazz it up a little bit. Then it'll just give it a nice touch. Okay, there we go. Scoot that one over a little bit. Okay, so again, don't forget the little centers. I'm going to flip this over and grab a few foam squares, put those on the back, as we're going to lift this up off of Fleurette here to give her a little added dimension. I think that's enough. Okay, and you can see how this fits. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. All right, now let's work on her head. Not much left to do here. You can actually take this and just glue this down flat. Just make sure that you match it up with the existing eyes and eyebrows. Okay. And her mouth looks a little weird right now because we still need to put her lips and her teeth in place. And those are going to go in like a little puzzle inside of her mouth. You know, there's a lot of thought involved in figuring out how to get all these pieces to work together while also keeping it relatively easy for you to do it. Okay, I'm going to put one little drop of glue on the mouth. It's actually like the lips. It's going to go right in there like a little puzzle. And then her teeth are right here. Super tiny little piece, but it's there. And you just want to put a tiny dot of glue on that and get that centered on that pink piece that we just put down. I'm going to thin that out with my finger. I don't want it bleeding onto the lip portion. And just get that nice and centered. Don't push it down quite yet. You can use a little dowel or basically anything to position it properly. I need to adjust it this way a little bit. And there we go. Got it. Okay, that just leaves her hair. And her hair has 3 layers. Okay. Okay, this is going to be our back layer. This layer is going to go on top of that layer. And we're going to leave the strands alone. So just apply glue to the main part of it. Just like that. And then match that up. Mostly, you're just going to match up these little cutout areas down here at the bottom. Or actually, you can, right in the center, right here, just match it up with that. And let those strands just kind of hang. And then this last one, you'll notice there's a little score mark on this layer. Match it up with that. The little valley right here is going to go right where that that little marker is. And this is going to get glued down completely flat. Just like that. Okay, there we go. Hair is ready to go, and you can see where it's going to go. It's going to go right there. Just like that. And she looks great. I love it. It turned out really nice. All right, so I'm just going to put glue on this part here, maybe down a little bit, like so. I'm going to lift her up so I don't goof up. Bring it down a tad. There it is, right there. Perfect. She's cute. Super cute. Look at her. All right, so that's done. That's done. Okay, let's bring out the card base. Let's bring out the frame. Okay, she's going to get glued down flat onto this surface here, like so. Okay, and notice this part is perfectly flush at the bottom. Everything else looks fantastic. So we can flip this over, flip her over, apply your glue. I'll keep it away from the hair. I don't want it to, I don't want that glue to shoot out and blemish the other part of the card. That should be plenty. Let's grab this piece, line it up, get it as accurate as you can, flush on the bottom, give it a little nudge here or there, make sure she's centered. That looks good. Perfect. Okay, we can press that down. And now, not quite ready to put her on there. We got to put the purse together first, but we can, in the meantime, start applying our foam squares. I'm going to work the corners first. Okay, up here, I've been doing 2 extras in the center just to keep it nice and sturdy. Same thing here, but I'll bring it up a little bit since I have the room. I'll do a center between the 2, then I'll do 1 more there and 1 more here. Same thing here. I can put 1 there by the cloud. Put 1 there, and then of course we need to make sure that she is nice and secure. And just kind of work your way down and stagger it left and right. Let's put 1 right here too, for good measure. And maybe 1 right there. Okay, flip it over, give it a little push test. Make sure that it's not dipping too much in any area, but that is very pretty actually. She is a little more summery, but let's take a look and see how that's going to end up looking. That is fantastic, I love it. So this one's very graphic because of the bold colors, where the other ones are a little bit softer, but either way, it still looks great. So now, I'm gonna grab, excuse me, I'm gonna grab the elements for the purse, because we need to do that next. Okay, this is the main part of the purse. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off by applying glue to this little flap here. There's a score mark right here that you wanna score this at. And we're gonna take this and just glue it down to itself. This is gonna help thicken up the top of the handbag. And same thing over here. Just press and hold that down. Okay, next, I'm gonna grab our pattern piece, and we decided to go with this. Okay, and that's gonna go on like so. And you can ink this if you want. I'm just gonna leave it alone. And we're gonna apply glue to this surface, right here like so. I guess I could always hit it with some ink if I want to later, but I don't think it's necessary. I already got enough going on with ink on the main part of the card. Okay, so just line up the holes where ultimately our ribbon is going to feed through. So that's going to be centered. Okay, and you can actually push that down flat to help that really get a good hold. And we're going to repeat the same process on this side. So go ahead and apply your glue to this surface. All the way around. grab this. There we go. Press that down. Okay. There we go. All right, now we're going to grab our ribbon, and I went with this green. Yeah, I think that'll work. I like it. This is 3/8 inch ribbon. We're going to feed it through this little hole. I'm going to fire up my hot glue gun. Definitely want to use hot glue for this, just because it's quick and it will make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. And then we're going to kind of flare it out like this. It's going to go through, and that's nice. It's a little dark, but it works. Okay, so we've got it through there. Wait for that hot glue to fire up. It says it's ready. Do I believe it? Probably not. Okay, and just lift that up a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry, the ribbon, I cut each one at about 6 inches. Just one little dot underneath each of these little sections, like so. Okay, there we go. So you can see what that looks like. Then we'll go over here, we'll do the same thing. Just feed it through. You can do one at a time, you can do both sides, whatever works for you. 3/8 inch, flip it over, and a little dot there. Okay, and a little dot there. There we go, perfect. All right, now we're going to close this up. So you have this little tab here. I'm going to apply glue to this entire tab. Keep it thin. I'll spread that out to the very edge. Okay, and then the edge of this orange is where you want this to line up, like this. Okay, so I'm kind of grabbing that tab all the way to the edge. Okay, and once you get it, you can kind of just push down on it like this. Since this thing has to lay flat. So you can actually push this whole thing flat to make sure that that seam is where it needs to be. And then the whole thing should sit flat and also spring open at the same time. Okay, so now it is time. These tabs are going to keep them in, but for now, oh, you know what? I forgot again. Third time. There's a little pocket that we've added to the purse. And one of these panels on one side has 2 little markers there. What you're going to do is you're going to apply glue to these 3 little tabs, excuse me, and spread that glue out to the very edge so everything looks nice and seamless. And then these 2 markers here, you're going to use those 2 markers to line up the bottom left and right corners of this little pocket. You could, if you want, put a little note in there or whatever you can fit in there. Some stickers or who knows. You guys will come up with something. This part up here is not glued, so it is a functional pocket if you want it to be. Okay, so there you have it. There's a little handbag. And now we're going to install this. Okay, so what we want to do, you'll notice that on this white part here, this little part that kind of protrudes out, that's going to match up with the edge of the tab. You can see how that fits perfectly, right? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to apply glue to this entire tab. Definitely want to keep, if it's built up, if it's thick, keep it over on this side. And then what you want to do is take it and just kind of spread it down to this edge. We don't want any getting on the pattern paper because we don't want the pattern paper sticking to the card. We just want the tab sticking, okay? So straighten this out. Now line up that tab with that very edge of that little white part and then press it down. Okay, press and hold, give that a few seconds. Yeah, and the handle may stick out a little bit, but it's fine. When you put it in the envelope, you can just tuck it in like that and it'll be fine. Okay, so one side is glued. Now what we're gonna do, very simple, we're going to apply glue to this other tab just like we did on the first side. And we're going to take that glue and spread it out to the very edge of the tab. Try to avoid getting it onto your beautiful pattern paper. Leave it like that. Make sure it's flat. like this, and then just close the card. And press right where that tab is. Okay, just keep pressing and holding. Now if you want, what I've been doing is I've been taking this and just putting it under my mat to let the mat kind of continue to push down while I put my envelope together. Okay, so let's take a look at the envelope here. What you're going to do is you're going to fold it at the score marks, bring in the two sides, and of course, goop, goop-de-goop-de-goop. You're going to apply glue to the very inside edge of each of these flaps, starting about right here. And then fold that up and hold. Okay, and we have a little extra piece for the top flap. It's going to go like this, and it's going to cover it up to give us green leaves. So all you need to do here, this is my texture side I'm putting glue on, just focus the glue around the texture, or I'm sorry, around the perimeter. Try not to get it too far in, because we don't want that glue showing up in these little cutouts. Get that nice and centered, follow the little scallop pattern. Okay, then press that down. Okay, and now you can see we've got the flower there. There should be one large pink flower left over, or whatever color you decided. And that's going to go right in here like a little puzzle. Just like that. And then we have, finally, a little stamen. And I'm just going to put a little dot of glue right in the center of that. Hit that with my finger because it's so thin. And just get it right in the middle of your flower. Press that down. And there is your beautiful coordinating envelope. And now that that's done, you can pull this back out and let's take a look at our pop-up mechanism. And there it is. Okay. And there's our beautiful bag opened up. And all that's left to do is take off the backing on our foam squares and put Fleurette in place. This is a fun card. You guys are going to love this bundle. I hope. I think you will. I have a feeling this one's going to be floating around everywhere. Hopefully. And then maybe when you make it and post it in Design Space, or not in Design Space, in a Cricut group, someone will be like, wow, that's awesome. Where'd you get that from? And then you can tell them, oh, Dreaming Tree. And then they'll have that experience that you once had where you, by the way, there's a little marker here and here to help you with the centering of this piece. I'm almost tempted just to use my eyes instead, because sometimes I feel like those things are not always the most accurate. But let's push that down. And there's a beautiful Fleurette. And that's where you're going to put your gift card and your coordinating envelope. So that's going to do it for Fleurette. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please visit us on our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. While you're there, hit the little bell so you get notifications anytime we release a new project, whether it be paid or free. And if you make this or anything from this latest bundle, I'd love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Official. That's where you'll find myself and over 45,000 other dreamers that inspire us daily. So I hope you had a blast, and as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos, and please consider hitting that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where you'll find over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly tutorials. I'll see you in the craft room.